No amount of money, security, and attention satiates a weak man. He behaves no differently from a woman. The moment a woman secures a Louis Vuitton bag, she moves to Fendi. Buy her a Fendi, she must have Chanel. The popularity of securing the bag mindset signifies the emasculation of American society. The bag is a purse filled with money, security, and attention. Women are wired to prioritize money, security, and attention above everything, including freedom. The bag seduces men to act like women. Masculinity values free speech and truth more than money, security, and attention. ESPN and Disney are the enemy of masculinity, free speech, and truth. ESPN is the worldwide leader in promoting the matriarchy, the LGBTQ+ agenda, and racial idolatry. The network dropped the bag on McAfee for his bro show to serve as a beard for Disney's real agenda. He's being hailed as an amazing success story. He went from NFL punter to broadcasting superstar. It's allegedly the American dream. Selling out is not the American dream. Building a brand so that a global corporation can use your reputation to hide its anti-American, anti-patriarchy, and pro-alphabet mafia agenda is not worthy of celebration. It's sick. McAfee can't plead ignorance. He can't deny what ESPN is doing by saying, I just talk about sports. I'm not political. ESPN doesn't just talk about sports. ESPN is explicitly political. ESPN is explicitly racially divisive. Disney and ESPN have chosen a side on the transgender issue, which directly impacts how the network talks about men who pretend to be women and participate in women's sports. McAfee knows why ESPN dropped a bag at his door. McAfee is too cowardly to get in the ring with ESPN's army of race baiters. Will Cain used to do it. He got tired of the role and left for Fox News. But ESPN doesn't host real fights, not on the issues that matter. ESPN lines up tomato cans to fight their race baiters and pays white men such as Mike Greenberg to sign off on the racial division or ignore it. That's what sellouts do. I can hear my critics right now. They will claim I'm jealous of McAfee. I'm not jealous. I'm disappointed. He can't muster the courage to even pretend to be courageous. Dan Le Batard and Bill Simmons muster the courage to pretend. Yes, they play woke to stay on the good side of social media, but at least they chose independence over obeying Disney commands. Disney is directly pursuing kids. The wickedness of Disney is obvious. Its strategy related to McAfee is just as obvious. McAfee is a weak man. He's no rebel. He's Joe Biden.
Can I just, before you go to Royce, today was a really bad day for the people who say you don't criticize white men. You just lit Pat McAfee on fire and watched him burn for 10 minutes. You compared him to the biggest coward in American history, General William Hull, who was court-martialed, convicted, and sentenced to his death over his cowardice.
Yeah. And I say that in all seriousness. He cannot play the role, I don't know, and I don't do that. I'm not political. I don't know why they're paying me 10+ million. To be a beard. Period, end of story. To cover up their real agenda. The weakness of men, and at this time, when there's so much money to be made, and it seems so obvious disconnecting yourself from those corporate purse strings are the masculine thing to do and the appropriate thing to do. For Pat McAfee to pretend like he doesn't know what's going on and how he's being used, or maybe he does know and he just doesn't care, but I'm not going to allow him to get away with this. And I'm aware, and we're about to bring Royce on, I'm aware that LeBron James and the way he ducks his head on China, is really cowardly. I get, and LeBron James has more money than Pat McAfee, but LeBron James has the excuse of like, hey, he's in the NBA, the entire league. He couldn't make money playing basketball any other way than being in the NBA and being in on their gimmick. Pat McAfee, perfectly fine keeping his distance from ESPN. He had a bunch of other options other than being the beard for ESPN and Disney, and he chose to be their beard. I have no respect for it. Royce, am I being too hard on Pat McAfee?
No, I think you bring up a very good point overall about people's impulse to sell out. There's an epidemic of sellouts in our country. There's an epidemic of selling out all across the world. And really it speaks to a crisis of faith, but even more so, not even more so, but also a crisis of sacred honor. The morals, the values, the ethics you're willing to live by, fight for, and if need be, die for. This man has no sacred honor.
You make an excellent point that you've made several times on this show, and I appreciate it. And part of what we're trying to do with this show and with these conversations is reset what masculinity is and help men understand, because right now, everybody thinks the most masculine thing you can be is as rich as you can be.
Yeah.
That is masculinity, and it can't be that. If money justifies your masculinity and money justifies every behavior, let's all just grab stripper poles. Every last one of us should be on a stripper pole, and everybody should just be a sellout.